that you listen to both parties agreed and both parties have to give up something, that is compromising. The 17th tips and trick. One thing I just want to remind, like in the last time it was a lot of discussion from my students that when a sponsor reject, do we escalate it? Yes. If no, it was not that. What was? Yeah. Okay, so let's start the tips and tricks video. Last time we did 16 tips and trick. One of the tip and trick was debated a lot among my students. When the benefit to cost goes out of the range, do we have to escalate to sponsor? And the answer is yes. But sponsor signed the project charter. Without his approval, we cannot do anything. In order to close the project, we need his approval. So I want to start with the topic of the procurement. I guess I will go topic by topic and it will make more sense in that way. In procurement, whenever the question says that your agreement has not been signed, which one document you will look to see what is needed. Which one document you will look what needs to be done. That will be procurement statement of work, or also known as statement of work. It has all that thing, what do you need, things like that. Another thing in procurement, if the question says which one document we would never share with the seller, and that will be source selection criteria. We will never say with him which source selection criteria is there. It's an important thing, because if we share the source selection criteria with the seller, he will change it according to that. So that's an important thing. A question that I have seen multiple times in PMP exam, or students have given me the feedback that this question is coming, is that a seller does not meet criteria and someone is recommended in. So whenever there is a point when seller does not meet criteria and someone in the governance board is recommending him, we will share that to sponsor as a conflict of interest, or we will escalate it. So this is an important thing to understand when you are looking at the source selection criteria. Then us think about contract. When our scope is fixed, the scope is fixed, and we want to go with a contract. When the scope is fixed, where we don't want to have any liability and want to make sure we are secure, we will go with the firm fixed price contract. And if the scope is clear and we want the seller to complete something earlier, we will use fixed price incentive fee if we want them to complete earlier. And if there's a chances of inflation, so we will use economic price adjustment. Okay, if we want to buy something on subscription, we will use time and material contract, buying a crane, getting a resources, things like that. Acha. When the scope is not fixed and we want to make sure that we are secured, then we will go with cost plus fixed fee. But if we want to make sure that we don't go above ceiling price, or we want the work to complete it in the less time, we will go with the incentive fee. And award fee is basically when we like something. So this is kind of a thing when people get confused which type of contract to use. This is when you use them. Bidder conference. The purpose of the bidder conference, or if the question says that you are not clear about the requirement, or that there are things that you want to know from the sellers, if something like that is being said in the question, then at that point in time we will have a bidder conference. And we will, not only the purpose of bidder conference is to clarify the requirement, the purpose of bidder conference is also to get the requirements. If the question says that the seller is not sure, about the requirement, the buyer is not clear about things that he may need from that. Sometimes you are making something, you are not 100% clear. For example, right now I'm making this video and I don't want this pen to go to other, like for example, this is a very good paper, but the ink, if you see, it's also going on the next page. The dots are going, and this is, yeah, here you see more dots are going in the page. So I may need to talk to someone, to a seller, what to do about this thing, so that my next page does not get damaged. Okay, so that can be something, the bidder conference, that can work for that thing. When an agreement is signed, which is of course after the bidder, when an agreement is signed with the seller, when an agreement is signed, everything should be done according to the agreement. That is for sure. Okay. In addition to that thing, whenever, like if you want to do the audit, let's put audit and inspection. If you want to do the audit of a seller, that it must be written in your contract that you can do the audit. You want to do audit and you can do the audit of the seller. It must be written. If it is not written, you cannot do the audit. This is a very important thing, that audit must be written in the contract that you can do the audit. For example, I cannot do audit of Apple. I have every single Apple product, but I cannot do their audit because it is not written in my contract. Inspection. Whenever the deliverable come and we want to inspect that deliverable, whenever the deliverable comes and we want to inspect that patent deliverable, it should be first of all according to the agreement. Okay, and let's say if the deliverable is not accepted, then we get something that is called as a conflict. Now this is kind of a flow, because in the question you need to identify where are you in the flow. Step one is you need to see that, try to get a win-win situation, try to get a negotiation with them, and that can help you a lot. That is a very important thing. Get a win-win situation, negotiation. If you cannot do that, then go to the next step. Next thing can be do what is written in the contract. Do what is written in the contract. If you have done, try to do negotiation, get them into a table. You have tried to do what is in the contract, still that is not doing, you get a mediator, a third party who can actually mediate between you guys. If that does not work, the last option is then you need to go to court. Okay, so you need to identify where are you in the procurement phase and where the conflict is. Acha, procurement closes throughout the project. That's a thing, people think that procurement has to be closed. No, the procurement is closed throughout the project, and sometimes even this can happen. The project is still closed, but procurement is still open. That's why we have procurement managers or people like that to work into this thing. I guess these are enough for tips and tricks for procurement. Okay, do tell me, by the way, give this feedback, that do you think I should do it topic by topic, or whatever important things that I see, I should make that thing as an important thing and work into that way. Acha, another important thing, and a few things let's work into that way, about the team topic. I guess I will be talking a lot about the team, virtual team. Whenever a problem come in a virtual team, even if the question say they are geographically distributed, try to get them at least one time face to face. Try to get them at least one time face to face. If you can get your virtual team at least one time face to face, 90% of the time you can resolve this thing. It can be a kickoff meeting, it can be a one-day meeting, retreat, whatever. But if the communication is not reaching properly and you want to work better with your teams, try to get them face to face. That's a very important thing. In virtual team, collaboration and collaborating tool are very important, like Zoom calls. We need to look into that, how we can work into that. After procurement, now I am working on the team topic. Okay, so yeah, and just put it aside. Okay, throughout the project, whenever the problem comes, how many points we did cover? 24. I hope I don't fall anything. 24. The next thing is that whenever you are arranging the team, always arrange the team identifying their strengths and skills that are required in that project. Like the question can says how you will make the team. You need to identify the strengths and you need to identify the skills that are needed for the project and arrange the team according to them. This is a very critical thing that you need to look into that. Acha ji. Whenever a problem comes under a team, how to make a decision, like who should talk, when to talk, ground rule should define that, what rules should work into that. These must be made by the team. Like in the stand-up, we should only share the progress meeting, things like that should cover into the ground rules. Okay. Then another document, team charter. Ground rule is actually a part of team charter. This is a part of team charter. Team charter has vision, values, conflict, all those things. If the question says that the team is not behaving well and both are in the option, you will go with the ground rules. But if the ground rule is not in the option, you will go to the team charter. Team charter is made by the team, not the project manager. If you want to see anything about the team, this is used. This can be called as a working agreement, ways of working, social contract, so many things named to use. The purpose is the contract among the team, how the team is going to behave. That is basically team charter. I want to make up to 30 points. Yeah, so not more than 30. I don't want this video to be very long that you get bored. Achha, team charter is done. Now let's talk about how do you basically solve a conflict. Okay, whenever a conflict happens, this will be 3. Whenever a conflict happens, the first thing is to look at the 5 stages of the conflict. Stage 1 to stage 5. At stage 1, the team is trying to like solve the problem, that is problem solving. The next is like from problem solving to world war. Okay, problem solving, disagreement, contest, crusade, world war. At level 1, if the question says the conflict is level 1, you don't interfere, let the team figure out themselves. So you identify the level and then you work into that. Your goal is that the team solve the problem themselves. How you are going to solve the conflict, it is also identify the at which level the conflict is, what is required from the conflict at a current situation. That's a very important thing. Okay, we have multiple conflict management techniques. When the question says that both parties are agreeing, you listen to both parties and you solve the problem according to that. You listen them, find a solution. That's a problem solving, also known as collaboration, win-win technique. Okay, but if the question says that you listen to both parties and you took the decision, you listen to both parties, then you took the decision for them. Okay, this is more of a forcing or directing. And if the question says that you listen to both parties agreed and both parties have to give up something, that is compromising or reconciling. Okay, and if both parties are not like the problem is there, the sponsor is not coming in the meeting, a stakeholder is not coming in the meeting, instead of talking to them, which can be confronting or which can be collaborating, you just document that thing and don't take any action. That is avoiding or withdrawal. Avoiding or withdrawal is when basically you don't take any action to work into that thing. Okay, that is avoiding or a withdrawal. And then smooth and accommodate is that smoothing is basically then when somebody says let's do this way or they are having fighting and you say specifically this thing, let's focus on important thing now and we'll come back to this later, right? We'll come back to this later. That is smoothing. And if you just agree what other person is saying, that's kind of accommodating. So we went to 32, or this is accommodating, 33 points. So I will continue in the next series with the team topic. Okay, and I guess I'll make team stakeholder communication and then I'll make 1 or 2 on agile videos. Do tell me what do you think about this video, what are you learning and what things confuses you. Give me the information, you guys give me the data and I make the video accordingly. I hope you like it, I hope you love it, and this was the series 2 videos and we will see you in the next video. Like it, subscribe it, comment it. Your commenting are like a fuel to me. I want to know what you are learning, what things became a aha moment for you, and I will keep adding value to you, and that is my purpose in this PMP training. And if you want to join our program, feel free to join it. Thank you very much. Bye bye. That's good. Yeah.